Whoa, 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 whoa. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Wrestling with Whiskey Weekly, the best bourbon show on the internet, the best damn spirit show on the planet, especially tonight because we are venturing outside of bourbon just a wee little bit. So come with us as we entertain the lovely world of spirits in general. I hope you are all having a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. I hope you are having a great hump day. I hope this week has treated you well. And you know what? Because of that, you deserve a drink. But the big news that I have actually refers to what we have in front of us. Well, two things. I should say two things. One, Woodford Reserve did announce its latest Masters collection, which will be the main event of tonight's show, which they're calling very fine, rare bourbon. It's some of the oldest bourbon that Woodford Reserve has ever released, including liquid from some 17-year-old barrels. It doesn't say that it's all 17-year-old bourbon, to be fair. It says the bourbon includes liquid. We're going to talk more about this later on. The bourbon includes liquid from barrels that are 17 years old. So we will get more into that later. I have the full press release ready to go. It will be good. But other news is that right on this Wrestling with Whiskey Instagram page, this is YouTube, but if you go to the Instagram page starting on, I believe it is Monday, there will be a chance to win a Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series 4, which has just dropped. I know it just hit Indiana. It's here in Illinois. The fourth. And all four have been different. I used to think they were going to be the same thing. All four have been different. So I will be doing a giveaway on Instagram of not only Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series 4, but 8-ounce, not little 2-ounce bottles, 8-ounce bottles of Discovery 1, 2, 3. So you can discover Discovery. That is going to be awesome. But wait, holy crap. You get a flight board. You get a flight board with 4 glasses and board to hold them all. Bardstown Bourbon Board. Bardstown Bourbon Board. Bardstown Bourbon Board. Anyway. And I'm not freaking done here. And you get 4 tickets to tour Bardstown Bourbon Company if and when you get the chance to go down and visit. They have 4 complimentary passes. I don't have it in front of me. It is a specific tour. It's one of their more VIP nicer tours. But you get 4 passes for that, for you and some friends or family. So you get the full size Discovery 4, 3 8-ounce bottles of Discovery 1, 2, 3. You got a flight board with 4 glasses and 4 tickets to go visit the distillery and the amazing vintage library and all this. Yeah, Sardog, you've got that right in the chat. This is like an infomercial. It's like an old taping of Oprah. There's more. It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to be trying to do some entertaining giveaway stuff throughout the week in regards to all that Bardstown Bourbon Company, good stuff. And lastly, and we'll come back to this again, don't you worry. The Wrestling with Whiskey Single Barrel Club, some of you are already in it, has locked in a pick with New Riff, a private pick just for us. We're not even dealing with the store or nothing. We are buying a quarter barrel, probably a little bit more than a quarter barrel. That is just for us. These picks are always awesome. I've been picking with them for the last 2 years annually. And we're hoping to go to the distillery. If not, we will do it via samples and I will pick right on this show. I will pick the barrel with one of our Patreon members. So let's check that out. There is the information. If you have not joined us already, if you live in one of those states, go ahead and check it out. Patreon.com/wrestlingwithwhiskey. There is still time to get in on this new riff pick if you want to be one of the members to either go with us or help us pick. $5 a month, the cheapest single barrel club out there, I guarantee you. We are growing and it's going to be awesome. So please join us when you can. We will come back to that later. I'll put that into the chat as well. There's the information. We're having a blast. We have a blast in the Discord, flexing whatever whiskey we're pouring too. So, the other big news, Whiskey Advocate released its top 20 whiskeys of the year. And once again, bourbon making a big name for itself. Bourbons took the top 2 places on the Whiskey Advocate top 20. And a wheated bourbon took number 1. But for those of you who are used to seeing what is the best, wheated bourbon in the world and everything like that, it was a bit of a surprise and to the applause of some, to the chagrin of others. Larceny Barrel Proof batch, I believe B520, won Whiskey Advocate's best whiskey of the year. Now, of course, everyone has thrown their hands up a little bit here and there with them, considering last year they did pick the ever polarizing Dickel Bottled and Bond 13 year. That I still have that release in my closet. It's okay. It was a very surprising pick for me too last year, but I have not yet had a chance to have the Larceny Barrel Proof yet. So we might have to dive into that. I might have to lock down a bottle and try it. I hear mixed things. I hear it's pretty good, depending on the batch. So B520, and I believe this was the first year. What's this? I believe this was the first year it came out. Larceny Barrel Proof. That is a new product. But it's probably taking consideration. It's a barrel proof wheated bourbon. It is not age stated, but it is somewhere. It's like regular Larceny. It's in anywhere 4, 6, 8 years. Relatively available. I don't see it on shelves, but I know it's not impossible to get, and it's about $60. Kind of like Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Similar situation. But to me, Whiskey Advocate's number 2 release was, I don't know if I would call it my number 1, but is in my top 5 for sure, and might be in my top 3, is Knob Creek 12 year. The Knob Creek 12 year was, I thought, something that was so awesome to see. Not only just to see it, just to see Knob Creek already slapped the 9-year age statement back on its regular bourbon, which is awesome. But they brought a 12-year, and not only that, they made it very available. Now, I speak from living in Chicago. It's a larger market, but I do know people who can relatively easily find it throughout the country. I can find it at the damn grocery store on the shelf. So for $60. Now, there's a lot of people who are a little salty, and I get it, because they believe this is probably why, and it probably was, why Knob Creek and Jim Beam started holding back a lot of those older barrels of Knob Creek for the single barrel picks that we saw last year and the year before. A lot of those 14, 15-year picks. A lot of people think that they have, because they took a break from doing single barrels, and then when they kind of came back, it was back to more the 9-year, 10-year. And a lot of people were a little upset, and now they find out they were probably holding them back to use the stock for some of these 12 years. And that's probably true. And my argument was this. Some of those single barrel picks of Knob Creek are lights out fantastic. I've got a few in my closet that I put on limited edition level. Just they sing. But they can be very inconsistent. I've also had some that are pretty trashy. You know what I mean? So for Knob Creek to come out and make a 12-year, bring it down 100 proof, a good solid proof. It's not going to blow you out of the water, but it's still there. A very well-balanced, nice oaky tannins in there. I thought it was one of the most complex, balanced, available. It ticked every box for me. So it is up there as one of my absolute favorite bourbons of the year, and I'm so happy that it made the top 2. I thought that was very cool. I would have put it between those two. I would have put it number 1. But yeah, Elijah Craig did make a rye. I've heard very, very whatever things about it. I've not heard anything amazing about the rye. I'm hoping to try it at some point. I'm glad Rare Breed Rye as well made it. I'm very excited to try that. I haven't gotten my hands on that yet, but a couple of great ryes making their way up the list. But bourbons topping out Whiskey Advocate's top 20, which is always, always, always fantastic to see, especially when you're someone who does whiskey, but primarily bourbon show. But that's not what we're starting off with today. So let's get right into ding ding. I need a ding 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 sound effect on this piece somewhere. Let's get into the opening contest. All right. So we have with us a little bit of rum today. So we have with us Gregarious Grump. I'm going to double fist this. Single barrel rums. So Gregarious Grump is a company started out of Houston, Texas by Christopher Hart. Some of you might know him better as Whiskey Pete. He runs a show on YouTube out of the ESPN studios in Houston. But as always, he runs, I believe, Chris, I hope I'm getting there. I believe it's the Houston Whiskey Social. Big, huge, and works in a couple of bourbon groups and whiskey groups out of Texas and the Houston area. But he's also a huge fan of rum, and he started this company, Gregarious Grump. Now, they've started with rums, but I do believe, yeah, that name, he's a grumpy guy, but he's a good dude. They started with rums, but from what he's told me, I believe they're going to do other spirits. They might do bourbons and whiskeys, but they might do, other scotches. They might do brandy. They'll probably do brandies and armagnacs. They'll probably maybe gins. Who knows? It's not Gregarious Grump rum. It is just spirits, and I believe it's their sole goal. I don't think they plan to distill or anything like that. It's simply independent bottling, NDP kind of thing, sourcing unique barrels of unique spirits. And Chris, if you want that tagline, you can have it. Unique barrels from unique spirits. Give you that little taste of grumpiness. But I will take what we have in front of us is a 12-year Barbados rum to start with. These are uncut, unfiltered, barrel proof. Most of these, I believe these both don't have anything added to them. These are from distilleries that don't add color. They don't add more molasses or sugar. They don't add anything else. So it's kind of like bourbon. These ones, go by the old rum making ways. So this one, the Barbados rum is from Foursquare Distillery. Gregarious does disclose that at the bottom. And 216 bottles distilled in 2007 and bottled in this year right here. And it comes in at 128 proof. This is a beast. And then the second option, or not option, we're going to drink them both. Hot damn. Is a Guyana rum. Now, if you were like me and you were like, holy crap, I used to be good at geography in school, but I forgot where the hell Guyana is. It is in South America. It's on I believe, not on the coast, but it's a South American country. So this is a Guyana rum. This one is a 16-year single barrel rum, distilled in 2003, bottled this year, 180 bottles from Diamond Distillery. I'm not super familiar with Diamond. Foursquare I've heard of. Foursquare rums have gained a lot of popularity in the U.S. in the last couple of years. But this one comes in at 97.6 proof, so 48% ABV. More time in the barrel, a little bit more of that evaporation. It's cooled off a little bit. So, actually, you know what? I'm going to start with this one because it's a lower proof, so we won't burn ourselves out on 128 proof. We'll warm our way up. So once again, 16-year Guyana rum. And oh goodness. I mean, you see the color in the bottle. Let me show you this in the glass here. I mean, look at that color. That is gorgeous. Wow. I mean, that is just like deep hues of amber. I mean, there's almost some like red tint in there. Like that's an incredible, incredible color. Legs are thick. Thick like molasses, they're moving slow. A little bit of got on the side there. Foursquare makes really good bottles, absolutely. This one is from Diamond though, in Guyana, and I'm just gonna dive into this one. God bless it. Rum, oh my God, that is like fruity chocolate. Rums remind me sometimes of like really well-aged Armagnacs and brandies. There's this like dark sweetness to them. And oh my goodness. This is like dark chocolate, cherries. But also old rum has this almost dustiness to it, like even more so than whiskey. You know what I mean? More so than old whiskey. Rum has the, almost like a dusty bourbon, like from the 70s. Like it has that almost like dusty basement funk to it a little bit. There's old rum funk. You got that old rum funk. Old rum funk. Oh, but yeah, I'm sorry. Chocolate and dark cherries. That is what I'm getting all day long on this nose. And it is, even for freaking 97 proof, it doesn't nose like 97. Nose is like 90 proof. There's some leather and oak in there as well, but sweet cake, like pound cake notes. And just this velvet plum and cherry on the nose. Just, ooh, the whole time. I poured a little heavy too. Let's take a sip, guys. Ooh. Mmm. There's a good amount of kick on that. And I don't mean alcohol, I mean spice. There is a good amount of spice. Especially for so old. For 16 years, I thought it might have tamed it down a little bit. Thought it would be a little bit more even keel, but hot damn. Like a good rye. You know what I mean? There's almost like rye spices going on. It's pretty wild. But man, like dried fruit skin, like apricot almost now. I'm changing from fruit to fruit. You know what I mean? It keeps evolving. Some almost grapey red wine notes. Bitter cocoa. And great body. For under 100 proof. Again, but this is barrel proof. It's uncut. It's 16 years old. So that's why the proof isn't crazy high, even though it's barrel proof, even though it's, cask strength. This is a rum that you can chew on. I don't like overusing the word literally, but literally, you can bite into this. This would make like an amazing, amazing dessert pour at the end of a meal. You know what I mean? You talk about like an aperitif. It's sweet, but there's enough bitterness there to balance it. That would just help. Like, I can imagine having that either with dessert or after, a nice, especially like a heavy meal. Like, I'd rather have that post dinner than like a brandy, like they normally will serve you at a restaurant, a brandy or a whiskey. I think that would go down so nicely. God. And these have had a few days to open up too, because I did crack them after I got them. So they have opened up a little bit. So man, that is a really nice one. That is for those that are late, we are just finishing up tasting the Guyana rum. It is a 16-year Guyana rum from South America. Not in Africa like I thought it might have been. That's Ghana. Way different. And now we're going to move into the 12-year Barbados rum from Foursquare Distillery. Cast strength at 128 proof. Now this one might knock me on my ass. And don't forget, we've got the Woodford Masters collection coming up. Little commercial. The oldest Woodford Reserve Masters collection. So now we are here. As you see, the color's a little bit lighter on this one. A little bit brighter. Still dark, still a nice deep amber, but not quite that almost wine-like color of the last one. Smaller bubbles on the legs there, almost like smaller beads, but still moves very slow. Scorpion in the chat, yes. That Guyana rum was incredibly yummy. Whew. And now, as they used to say in Monty Python, and now for something completely different. This is a total departure. There's some sweetness, but man, it's mostly, I don't know, like hazy with pepper, light fruit, but almost like a peppery spiciness on the nose. Almost, it's kind of strange. I will tell you this again. 128 proof though. This should I know I'm used to nosing high proof whiskey, but this should kind of knock me on my ass a little bit. And this is so easy to just, this is going to sound dirty, but I could just jam my nose in this. I'm going to jam my nose in it. I mean, okay, there's a little bit of bite there. There's a little bit of proof there. But man, it's much more subtle than the Guyana rum. Cheers. Ooh. There's the heat. There's the proof a little bit. Great hug there. Great. Again, not a Kentucky hug. This is a Barbados hug. Starting in the front mid palate and just melting back into the back of the palate. Oh my goodness. There was an interesting note right off the first sip. I'm trying to figure out what it was. It's almost like a bitter black licorice with pepper sprinkled on top, if that makes any sense. Oh, man. That is a bit more bold. That's less soft and delicate and a little bit more like, I am rum hear me sugarcane. I don't know, like, holy shit. To those who are new or late, welcome into the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here, hanging out with us as we wrestle with rum in our opening contest. Take one more sip. That is a bold one. That is a bold one, to be sure. Wow. That one's very interesting. It's much more spicy. There's a lot more heat behind it. Given the choice in the two, this Guyana rum is just absolutely delicate and bold and viscous and frickin'. That's what I would want a rum to taste like. I'm not super experienced in rum. You guys know that. I'm a whiskey man through and through. But if I were to go rum, like, that's what I want my rum to taste like. I'm going back. There's just something. It's all dessert. It's chocolate, cocoa, velvet, cherries. Hot diggity damn. I wish I could pass this through the camera. Take a sip, guys. Just take a little sip. Take a little sip. Take a little sip with me. Okay, I don't want to fuck up my camera. I'm going to start cursing on this show now. Because why not? It's my show. But I don't want to mess up my camera. That is what rum should taste like. A big thank you to Christopher Hart, Whiskey Pete out of Houston, Texas. Gregarious Grump is the brand name. I don't know if they're going to be doing... Check them out. Just look them up. Look up Whiskey Pete. Whiskey without an E. Pete on Instagram. Check them out. I don't know what they're doing as far as distribution. If it's something local with groups right now, or if they're doing online distribution, or if it's going to be just in Texas, etc. But check them out. Follow them. I know they're going to be starting a social profile soon, so check it out. Scorpion, thousands of sailors can't be wrong. Sir, you are correct. But the opening contest is done. We are warmed up. We are prepped. We are ready to go. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is time. It is time for the main event of the evening. And there you have it. The main event of the evening, which I used that bottle because I don't have, because all they sent me was, they sent me this. They didn't send me that pretty bottle in the picture. Hopefully one day soon I'll be that guy. Chris Wright, it's the Attitude Era of wrestling with whiskey. I love it. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. But yeah, so there we go. Straight from the marketing people at Woodford Reserve. It is the very fine, rare bourbon. The very fine and rare name, if you know Brown-Forman and everything like that, you know that was kind of one of their taglines. Very fine, rare whiskey, I believe, is something that we've seen on Old Forester products. It's something that goes back in the Brown family and the Brown-Forman catalog for a while. So, and they spell their whiskey without an E to pay homage to that history, Scottish history of theirs. But I will read a little bit from the press release here because it is right in front of me and I don't want to get anything up. So this is Woodford's oldest bourbon yet, the oldest bourbon that they have released. It includes liquid. Now, we talked about this earlier. It includes liquid from barrels that are 17 years old and date to 2003. Now, that does not mean that this entire blend is all 17-year plus bourbon. It could mean that, if this is a batch of 300 barrels, maybe 6 barrels are 17 years old. It literally, or maybe one is. I would doubt it from the way they're talking about it. There's several barrels of old whiskey, but you don't want to age state this. You can't age state this as a 17-year-old bourbon because if you didn't know, legally in America, you can only age state what is the youngest whiskey or whatever it is in the blend. So if I blend 82 barrels of 15-year bourbon with 1 barrel of 4-year bourbon, if I want to put an age on it, I have to put 4-year bourbon. I can't put 15-year because legally there's younger whiskey in it. So you have to go with the youngest. That's why most people don't age state unless they have a very specific batch or it's a single barrel because they can track down the age. So we know that there is 17-year liquid in this from 2003, which was the year Chris Morris was named the master distiller. And so him and assistant master distiller Elizabeth McCall have been holding back these barrels for do a special release, which is this. This is the 15th Masters Collection. I'm reading right off the press release, so forgive my kind of by rote reading of this. It is the 15th release of the Masters Collection, created in honor of the many discoveries and innovation that occurred at the 1812 distillery site where Woodford Reserve is now located. Starting with the 2020 edition, all future Masters collections will focus on modern innovation by Morris and McCall. So it's not just going to be barrel-proof Woodford anymore or just old. It's going to be, it looks like they're going to be trying some new stuff, which I think is very cool. And they did, if you look at the bottle picture, they have moved to the kind of squat pint bottle as opposed to those decanter bottles with the long neck. I like this better. I'm a big fan of clean, simple lines and images and things like that. I think this looks really nice. But guys, we've talked about it. You didn't come here to freaking talk about it. You came here to see how it tastes. So this is 90.4 proof. 90.4 proof. It'll be available in markets both US and globally. Suggested retail MSRP of $129.99. Now, if you guys go back a few episodes on this channel, we tried a Woodford Reserve bourbon that was $3,000, which was the Baccarat edition, which is basically Woodford finished for 3 years in cognac barrels and then put in a fancy-ass decanter. And I thought it was okay. I don't think it was $3,000 worth. So that's regular Woodford, which is 8 to 10 years with a 3-year finish in a fancy decanter for $3,000. No, sorry, $2,000, $2,000 still. Here you have a blend of older whiskeys, but including 17-year-old bourbon from Woodford, and it's $130. And from what Masters collection generally doesn't raise a ton of crazy secondary. So you'll probably be able to find it for $130 or $140, $150, something like that. Nothing insane. So let's see if you should hunt it down, or if you see it at that price or a reasonable price, should you get it? Let's find out. So once again, the color's good. Color's pretty. Nothing crazy. I think that 16-year rum was a little bit darker. Whip it around. Take a look at the legs. Legs are thick. Nothing crazy though. And now the best part. Lady, I love tasting, but hot damn, I think nosing is my favorite thing that I do in whiskey. So let's take a nose. Oh, whoa. Holy shit. I'll give it that. That might have been a bit of an overreaction, but what is this? 90.4 proof. it comes out of the glass bold and like, it's just like firing cannons of honey, fruit, sugar, like brown sugar, sweet and rich. There's a million different notes for that, but man, sweet and rich. I mean, you guys know me. I don't bullshit around here. If if it's not good, I'm gonna say eh. I'm very quick to say eh on a lot of things. But the one thing I'm worried about, oh, there's banana in there, honey, cherry, plum, oak. I mean, holy crap. The one thing I'm worried about, though, is I've had a lot of things that have incredible noses, but really disappoint on the palate. So, fingers crossed that this is not the same fate. I mean, there is just a lot of... I'm getting some more wine-ish notes now. Some light, sweet, grapey sweetness. Bon appetit. Cheers. Sláinte. Salute. Oh, wow. The palate is much more subtle, but not necessarily. That doesn't mean like, I'm not saying bland. I just think it's subtle. Which could be a good thing, because it's a bold nose. Yeah, tons of fruit. Fruit, honey, and brown sugar is kind of what I get. Like cherry plum, this like molassesy like honey, and then just like that tingly sweet of sugar. But on the palate, the wood comes out. Oak, grapey. A lot of people with old bourbon, especially, that grapey, like dark grapey note is a strong sign of oak. It's like sweet, tannic oak. I almost get, on things that are in the double digits or like 12, 13 years plus, I get a little bit of like cough medicine. I don't hate it. It's like that sweet, kind of syrupy, grapey note that almost reminds you of of grape cough medicine. I get it on Weller 12. I get it on like anything 12, 15 and up kind of thing. This is giving me a little bit of that, especially when it's lower proof, because it cuts out some of that boom, that kick from a barrel proof option, and it brings out those subtle notes of oak and grape. I'm really not mad at this. It's very light. So yeah, tons of oak, some floral kind of notes, almost like rye notes, like herbally notes. The finish is a little disappointing. There's not much of a finish. I will say that. I was hoping for something that includes 17-year liquid. I was hoping for a little bit more of a lengthy, evolving finish. And it kind of comes and goes. In that way, it is very reminiscent of regular, standard, off-the-shelf Woodford. Where it's kind of like Because regular off-the-shelf Woodford is a nice, pleasant, sweet bourbon. But it kind of comes and goes. I think it's that same 90.4. It's like 90 proof. It's very easy drinking. I see why it's served everywhere on the planet Earth. I might have to get a little bit more. These special editions, I usually try to keep a little bit of an extra sample, but I need like one more sip. Because this nose is so bold, guys. Like, it's really, really nice. I could sit and do that all day, for sure. Fruit peel. I almost get a little bit like orange peel too on it. You know what I mean? Like that bitter, citrusy kind of note. Sorry if the sound is weird on the mic. I'm just trying to there's a little bit more of a finish there. I feel like on that sip, but it's still, it falls a little tiny bit flat. Obviously, I would imagine they tried this at several different proofs. I can't help but think this is 90.4 proof. If they put it at like 100 proof, 101, something that was just a tiny little bit more of a punch, a little bit more of a heft behind it, that maybe, just maybe, the palate would be a little bit more substantial. Nose, incredible. Just the nose is fantastic. The palate is decent. The palate is very, very nice. And it's the opposite kind of, in a way, of the nose. The nose is all sugar and sweet. The palate is a little bit more oak, bitter. It's a little bit of those subtle, bitter kind of flavors. The finish is a little disappointing. So if that's your thing, I don't know if you want to spend the money on a limited edition. That being said, I've had the last 2 years Masters collections, and I've been really pretty disappointed with them. Like last year's was just barrel proof. Although, wait, sorry, that's the batch proof, which I guess is a different than the Masters collection. But these Masters collections are always kind of hit or miss. There's a reason nobody fawns over them the way they do over BTAC or Four Roses Limited Edition or anything like that. There's a reason, because it's like some of them are really cool and interesting. Some of them are like, that's just dull. This is very nice. If you like Woodford and you got a little extra money to spend, this year's Masters collection I think is well worth your $129.99 to have something unique and something very pleasant, interesting to drink, incredible to nose. Especially if you can find it at $129.99 or very close thereof. If Woodford is your thing, I say go for it. If you're already, I will say this, if you're not inherently, because there's a lot of typical Woodford notes in here. It's like, and as soon as I smelled it, I was like, oh, it's like a Woodford that I've had on the plane before, but just like, boom, turned up to 11. If you're one of those people who's like, I can't really find anything I like about Woodford, you might not like this one. Yeah. So, I would say it's like, I don't like giving ratings. You know what I mean? I don't like giving ratings. 8 out of 10 kind of thing, like where it's like 70 or 75%. Like, it's close. It's good. There's so much good going on, but I can't give it like a freaking, an awesome score, because the finish is a little disappointing. The palate was interesting and very nice, but I don't know if it was as good as the nose. The nose was very, very good. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Woodford Very Fine Rare 2020 Masters Collection. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. We tried some rum. We double-fisted some rum. Hi guys. I'll see you more after the stream. We tried a very, very interesting limited edition in Woodford Reserve. But guys, if you want to join us for picking barrels, because that's right, we pick barrels. Who picks barrels? I'll tell you who picks barrels. The Wrestling with Whiskey Single Barrel Club. Join us at patreon.com/wrestling with whiskey. If you live in one of those 30 states, we can fulfill to you from our retail partner, or like the special thing we're doing right now with New Riff, we're buying it ourselves so I can ship to any of y'all mother truckers. $5 a month, the cheapest single barrel club out there. We are growing. Get in while the going is hot. We have so much fun in Discord, talking about our whiskey, planning our picks and everything like that. It is one of the best things I have ever done besides this awesome, awesome show. You guys are incredible. Now remember, always expand your mind outside of whiskey. Try something like a rum, Try something like a brandy or whatever like that. I know we're all whiskey fiends here. We all love it. Oh, baby, do I know that. But expand your mind outside of that. If you love something from Woodford Reserve, go give their new limited edition a chance if that sounds like it's your kind of thing. But most importantly, guys and gals and everybody in between, always, always, always be wrestling with whiskey. Guys, keep an eye out. Please subscribe to the channel. Like, comment. That always helps all these videos. There will be a video dropping later this week. I'm going to start dropping independently edited videos in addition to the lives. I'm going to get back to those videos again. So keep an eye on this channel. And we will see you next week at the same channel at the same time. Wrestling with Whiskey. Peace out, guys. I gotta go.